or take so long? There's an easier way, and you have nothing to lose to try it out. Grandview Homes will give you a no-obligation, guaranteed, fair cash offer in as little as 48 hours. We buy your home completely as is. No repairs whatsoever. And we close on the day you choose. Take the belongings you want and leave the stress and the mess to us. Grandview Homes is A+ accredited with the Better Business Bureau. See what our customers are saying about us on the BBB website. Sell your home as is today. Call the name you know and the name you trust. GrandviewHomes.com.
Hi, it's Sean. As you know, Mike Lindell has a passion to help you get the best night's sleep of your life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Mike's a capitalist. His offerings continue to expand, and you're in luck because it's time for a buy one, get one free extravaganza on multiple MyPillow products. Now is the time to join millions of Americans who have changed the quality of their sleep with MyPillow. Right now, buy one, get one free pricing on MyPillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance MyPillows, 6-piece towel sets, and the Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows, and so much more. Just go to the radio listener specials page at MyPillow.com and use the promo code LIBERTY or call 1-800-489-0201. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to buy one, get one free on select products. You'll also receive Mike's book absolutely free with any purchase. Call 1-800-489-0201 or go to the radio listener specials page at MyPillow.com. Promo code LIBERTY.
Dr. Gorka here, and you know me. I am very cynical about products, especially those that claim to help people suffering from pain. So when I tell you that Relief Factor truly works, I want you to know that I mean it. I suffered from a stiff lower back for almost a decade, one so painful it made it difficult to kneel in church on Sundays. When I finally decided to give Relief Factor a try, I didn't ever imagine that I would find myself free of the pain. But that's what happened. Now I take Relief Factor every day. Almost 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it worked for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. Feel the difference.
AM560 The Answer. This live program is sponsored by Safer USA OT Media Group. It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Our guest in the studio tonight is Jim Lawson, Jr. Jim, a resident of Plainfield, is running for Illinois Senate in the 49th District. To participate in tonight's show, call our studio at 312-642-5600 or watch us live, interact, and subscribe at YouTube On Target Radio.
Glad to have you in this evening, James. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, David. How are you?
You made the long trip from Plainfield.
All the way out in the sticks, southwest suburbs.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice down there. We like it, right?
Yes.
We do. We like it. There's less crime, although it's
Nope.
it's growing, to be quite honest with you. We want to talk about election integrity. That's where I really want to kick off. Have you seen 2,000 Mules?
Oh, yeah.
Is that not really interesting?
Yeah, it's super impactful. So as they describe it, you can it's palpable, right? So it's quantifiable, and I think Dinesh did a really great job in True the Vote as they just kind of put all the pieces together, and you can actually see it firsthand on how it was done.
If you haven't seen 2,000 Mules, first of all, you really need to see it. It's that good. But the thing I found most interesting about it is when they would get a guy stuffing the ballot box, because there was a hidden camera there, they would go online somewhere and they would see the ping of a cell phone at that location. And now they knew that was his cell phone, and they map them. They have maps of all these guys, and they make the same circuit like every night. They go home, they go to bed, they do whatever they're going to do, and the next night they're up and they go back into the same circuit. It's like they're postmen.
Yep, same exact thing.
So it's a dragnet is what they use. They can kind of set up like a geo fence around a certain area, and you can see all the cell phones that came in or out of that area for whatever period of time they're looking for.
And you can see them with a handful of ballots. I mean, it's very obvious, isn't it?
Well, so many so that they dump out of their hands as they're trying to stuff them into that
Exactly.
ballot box. So
I've seen where they use gloves, and then they to put the ballots in, then they take the gloves off and they throw them in the trash can after. It's like, why, you know?
Fingerprints.
I guess, but
How do you deal with that?
Well, you get rid of mail-in voting. You know, here in Illinois, we've essentially gone to a month from a day. So election day used to be a day, and now we're a month. So, you know, it's hard enough for me to find volunteers just for my campaign. And it's not because I don't have a good message. It's because, let's face it, you know, people don't have the time to devote. And especially when it's, you know, you're looking down the barrel of high inflation, high gas costs. You know, people, you know, just to scratch $5, you know, hey, can you give me $5? Or even better, you know, the biggest thing for me is 5 minutes of a person's time. So when you're looking at, you know, staffing poll watchers, it's huge. It becomes the biggest issue because you're sending out all these ballots, right? Now there's a flood of ballots that are hitting the clerk's office, especially in Will County, that are that are coming in, and you might be able to get one poll watcher to verify signatures, maybe to check on the machine. And to be honest with you, if you keep using that poll watcher, they're going to be really run down really quick. So that's the first step, is to let's get rid of these mass mail-in voting. Let's go back to provisional ballots, very minimal amount. And then, you know, you essentially work backwards, right? So in order to have free and fair elections, you have got to make sure that the people can vote, right? How are they qualified? Are they citizens? Are they non-citizens? You know, we want to make sure that legal citizens are able to vote. Otherwise, you're
racist.
That's what they'll call me. That's what they'll call me. But, you know, polling shows, even back, I think the issue was brought back in like 2017, that there was more support for voter ID being shown and registered voters. You know, there's more support for that than people are leading to be. You know, that actually was.
Well, personally, I want to vote in an election where I'm sure that my vote is going to count and that only people that should be voting are voting. If people aren't confident about the election results, the system is broken, and that's where we're at right now.
You're listening on Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Our guest this evening is Jim Lawson. He's running for Illinois State Senate out of the 49th District. And we're talking about election integrity. You know, they've interviewed people. They've gone inner city, and they've interviewed African Americans. They've interviewed Hispanics. They've interviewed a lot of people that the Democrats say, "Oh well, you know, you're racist, you're prejudiced if you make them show an ID and all that kind of stuff." And you've seen these, Gretchen.
I have.
And they say, "Do you have identification?" Yeah. Would you have a problem if you had to have an ID to vote? No. Do you know where to get it? Yeah. I mean.
Right. It's pretty much been debunked that would be any sort of an impediment for most people to vote. And also, it's also not a socioeconomic barrier, because like Illinois, and I think most states, if you can't afford to pay for a driver's license or a state ID, they'll give you one for free. So there is no excuse. There is no reason why people can't have ID and show ID to vote. The only reason is that it would prevent a lot of fraud, and they don't want to prevent fraud.
Of course. And, you know, the whole concept of voter ID, you can't cash a check without ID. You can't get on an airplane. Yeah, I mean, there's almost nothing that you can do without having some form of identification. You would think voting would be somewhere up on that scale of having to have identification. But, of course, it goes back to it's not in the best interest of people
who want to cheat.
Who want to cheat.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's stunningly simple. And it doesn't even matter like what polling organization you're looking at, that you're talking about. Every poll that talks about voters showing identification, as you just mentioned, 80%. That cuts across both parties. It has to.
Sure.
Okay, so that's Republicans and Democrats and independents think that it would probably be okay if you had to show ID to vote.
One of the things that I always like to ask candidates, particularly if it's your first time at the rodeo, you know, we have people that we've interviewed who go, well, when I get to Washington, I'm going to cure cancer, and I'm going to, you know, I'm going to have free airline flights for everybody who are missing a leg. And, you know, and they come up with all this stuff. And then you ask them, you're going to be one person. How are you going to do that? And they go, well, we're going to also do this. I mean, I don't know if people truly believe that they can do that, but you're going to go into a deliberative body and be one person who nobody knows. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's going to be the hardest thing that, you know, I've ever had to deal with. And you got to find your friends real quick. So, you know, I do know that, you know, I'm not Superman. There's a lot of issues out there. Illinois is not lacking issues. There's a lot to be fixed. Would I like to fix it all? Yeah, but truth be told, I'd like to be able to tackle one thing at a time. And, you know, the first thing is get to know your friends and,
sure.
and then run down your enemies, you know, keep them closer. So, you know, in Illinois, it's really not that hard to see who your friends are and who your enemies are. Although the game gets a little bit trickier, you know, I've only been doing this about 6 months, so I am a freshman politician. I'd still consider myself a non-politician or the unpolitician, because anybody who'd want to do this for a career has got a couple screws loose. You know?
It really is. It's a very difficult thing to do, and people, I don't think, truly realize it. When I talk to groups, I say, and this election in particular, this election coming up, big stakes.
Big stakes.
Big stakes. And I tell people, you know, it's good that you donate money to candidates. You need to donate time.
Time, the most valuable asset we
really
all have,
is.
right?
It really is, yeah. You got to donate time. All the stuff that needs to be done, knocking on doors, distributing literature, packing packs, all that kind of stuff takes an enormous amount of time. I mean, you when you get involved in an election, I mean, it's just every day. You're doing
Just about.
You're doing stuff basically every day, plus working.
Just about. Yeah.
And
But
you have a grown-up job.
Job. Yeah.
Where you have to actually work all day.
Yeah, work all day. I'm up at 4 every morning, out the door, on the job. You know, I'm running 3 jobs. I'm a control electrician, a union electrician, run as a Republican. So I always tell everybody, I say, hey, you know, my sign, the James Lawson sign, will be the only sign that's next to a proud Union Home sign. And I'm kind of proud about that, you know.
Well, good for you. We're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we want to start talking a little bit about education. You have kids. That's something that's kind of near and dear to you. So we'll pick up with education return, and we'll be interviewing again James Lawson, who's running for the 49th District in the Illinois Senate. And we'll be back with more on Target Radio after these messages. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Part of the problem with crime in Chicago is businesses haven't been doing enough.
Told them to hire your own security guard.
But she's going to help a little bit. She's going to kick in, hold up her end.
We can get up to $1,020 worth of stuff. And when I say stuff, I mean the Ring camera.
Now, do these surveillance cameras come with prosecutors? Because it seems to me that's the problem.
Start your day with Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM560. The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Honestly, love the product. It gives me energy, and it's not just in your mind. It makes you feel good. I mean, it really does. I'm somewhat good about eat a lot of fruit, but I'm not quite as good at the vegetables, although I do, salads, and we do, different vegetables, but nobody can get the variety that these have in it. And that's, I think, I don't know, it just it gives me energy. It truly does. And I like that feeling. It's just an absolutely fantastic product.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature right now. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com for more information or to place your order. Shipping is always free. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code Chicago.
Faithful listeners, now is the time to ask yourselves how you can help children at risk in your own neighborhoods and across Chicagoland. Consider supporting the 501c3 organization right in our backyard, Lydia Home. Lydia Home is a Christian nonprofit organization that's been faithfully serving children throughout Chicagoland for over 100 years. Lydia Home's professional staff strengthens families to care for children and to care for children when families cannot. Will your application, your choice, be the one that helps a child's life change forever? Please visit Lydia Home's website for more information on becoming a foster parent. Remember, not every foster parent looks alike. There are amazing foster parents of all demographics, single parents, families with kids already in the home. And Lydia Home needs your help in ensuring these children are loved and safe. Please consider applying. Go to lydiahome.org/hope. That's LYDIA home.org/hope.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. And our guest this evening is Jim Lawson, who is running in the 49th District for the Illinois State Senate. We want to talk a little about education. So you have two young daughters, and they go to schools in Plainfield, I assume?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, not anymore.
Homeschooling them?
Well, no. We 2 weeks before my 7-year-old was going, well, a 6-year-old was going into first grade, they reinitiated the mask mandates. And, so we're not about, mandates in our house.
Well, you're in the right room, trust me.
Yeah, so what we ended up doing was we researched a lot of Christian schools because, I was born, my parents raised me as a Catholic, and the Catholic churches decided to shut down as well, giving up on their parishioners. And so we were searched to find a Christian school. And so we got her down in Families of Faith in Shanahan. They were kind of the pioneers to stay open and to say no to Pritzker and his rules, So
You need to come visit us at our church.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because I have neighbors who I don't think they go to church every Sunday or anything like that, but they're doing the same thing with this, weird sex education stuff they're teaching, kindergartners.
Oh yeah,
they don't even really have the money, but they're not sending their kids to public school because of that. So I think
That's excellent.
No, it's bizarre.
I think they're going to be using Grace Academy, which I know some of our mutual friends use.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you're going to see that more often now is that, and I just saw Manhattan, and I know you said you had lived in Manhattan. They want a referendum for another school, and my comment was, well, if we keep teaching these kids the things we're teaching them, everybody's going to pull their kids out of schools. We're not going to need another school.
Yeah, enrollment is not going to support another school, I would guess.
No.
What I would like to know is what is it with school boards? They all of them. they've gotten as arrogant as you can possibly imagine, which includes, we were just talking about on the break, the one in Plainfield, which they got into a brouhaha with some, I think it was a mother, if I'm not mistaken, and literally said, well, we're not accountable to you or anybody. Excuse me.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You're the school board. You're elected. Of course you're accountable.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's their attitude. We have a friend whose name I won't mention, but he's on a school board, and they don't like him. And they text him messages. You don't belong on our board. We don't like you.
Well, yeah.
What is
They'll
getting
push you
into
out.
these people?
They'll push you out.
That's bullying. Come on.
Yeah.
Can't have
Well,
that.
right. There's no legal mechanism for them to remove him. Otherwise,
Right.
they would do that.
Right.
You
But I
got
mean,
it.
that's the level of arrogance. They're there to serve the population, to educate their children.
You would think so.
They're not supposed to tell the population what they want. The population is supposed to tell them what they want.
Well, see, they got too powerful, and so
They have.
you know, they think they know better than the parents,
Yeah.
and that's ridiculous. You know, they're pushing all of this early sex ed, and it's just disgusting. I mean, this is the main reason that I got into this race. You know, it's not just for my kids; it's for every kid. You know, I believe it was, you know, where education started to fail us was, I believe, in the early '60s. Was in 1962 is when the Supreme Court ruled that, you know, no longer have God in our schools. And to be honest with you, the golden rule and all that morality that comes along with that has, you know, 50 years later, look at where we're at.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've got a lot of problems in schools. I even heard that in Plainfield, one of the high schools, they're allowing litter boxes in the.
Oh, yeah.
Because these kids want to. The kids want to, you know, be seen as dogs and cats.
They want to
So,
self-identify as animals. Yeah.
I put me on.
I don't even.
No, you hear this stuff, and you think there is absolutely no way. And I've been seeing so much stuff lately that I'm like, I have to go and vet this because this is just not this cannot be
Unbelievable.
right. And you go and look it up, and it's true.
Let me just make sure I understand what you're telling me. You're telling me that in a public school, a child can go up to a gigantic litter box, scratch it, and pee in a litter box.
I guess they're allowing that. Is this not crazy?
Well, what about
I used to think my daughter might be able to be president if she applied herself hard enough. Now I'm thinking it might happen by default.
Well, we heard about the tampons in the boys' bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
That was a questionnaire on one of my endorsements.
Seriously?
Yeah, and I believe the Illinois Family Action endorsement was, do you support or oppose tampons to dispensers to be installed in boys' public bathrooms? And I said, no, I oppose it, you know. And then, you know, there's an asterisk by it because I actually expanded on the answer, saying, is this ridiculous? I mean, is this what we're going to be basing our society on? Look at where our kids, this is the future leaders, and we're letting them identify as cats and dogs.
As anything
Well,
they
so
want.
the problem here is that you have a very, very small percentage of the population that actually wants to identify this way.
Right.
But we're rolling over for this very small
Exactly.
percentage of the population that is mentally
Exactly.
ill. And I'll say it's mental illness.
No, and you know, you want to start talking about where these kids are you know, it's all part of their plan. It really is. They allow these kids to be put in a box, right? So they box themselves in, and then they go out into the world, and guess what? They can't take it.
They're lost.
They're lost.
Absolutely.
The trophy
And
situation.
So
Right,
not only
exactly.
it is essentially your public schools have failed them. Not only, well, especially if they don't have that really good, you know, faith base back at home to kind of like qualm that.
You're listening to Tiger Radio, and this is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. We have somebody, John, is on right now. John, how are you doing this evening?
I wanted to make 2 points regarding the public schools and the litter boxes and so forth, and all of the other nonsense that we have, like drag queen hour plays a part in
That's right.
education. We really need to bring back adulting, and the Republicans really have I think, a sense of adulting and things such as just math, letters, spelling, penmanship, writing, and leave all of the other stuff behind And then the other divergent point, I think, deals with January 6th. And if Republican leadership allows this fraud to keep playing on and on and on, the mass public out there that isn't necessarily tuned into stations like this or politics in general, left or right, is going to believe it. And I think that's only going to come back and bite the GOP.
I think you're absolutely right. And it's Ayer's book, Rules for Radicals. The longer you say it, the louder you say it, the more it becomes reality.
No doubt.
Yeah, and we really need something. I'm really disappointed with McCarthy. Why we're not doing something to fight back? And can you imagine if it was the other way around? If 2,000 Mules was filming Republicans stuffing ballots, what Pelosi and Adam Schiff would be doing?
They'd be losing their minds.
Losing their minds.
We have Joe from Schaumburg is on as an interesting thought. Joe, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you very much. I was trying to get through when you first had brought up the election integrity.
Sure.
And I had a question, if any of you know, is there a rule, policy, law, anything regards Cook County as to when and how they should clean up voter rolls? I've been trying to get my son off for 22 years. He moved out in 2000 when he went to California to school. And just in the past month, they sent us our new voter ID cards. His came again, wrote across it, gone, sent it back. A week later, I got another one from him.
So what you need to do is
another one.
What you need to do is you need to contact them and find out what their procedure is. So I did the same thing with my sister, was on the voter roll as living at my father's house, and she had never lived at that address. So I contacted our county clerk's office, and they said, well, write us a letter, sign it, and fax it to us, and we'll take her off, which they did do. So you have to find out what their specific procedure is. So apparently what you've done so far doesn't fit their procedure.
You know, the Rules for Radicals goes into this whole philosophy on how to conduct essentially a campaign, but how to conduct business in general. And that's one of the issues they have. Today, I got a press release in email, and the press release said, drag queen storytelling is becoming more popular in schools. Now, I doubt that, but thousands of people have seen that. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about government overreach. All that and more. We return with On Target Radio, and you're listening to AM560.
You listen to this radio station for truth at a time when truth is an endangered species. Now, we want to invite you to listen to our sister TV network, Salem News Channel. You'll find us in the App Store or online at salemnewschannel.com or on Roku or similar devices. You'll see Hugh Hewitt in the morning, followed by Mike Gallagher. You'll see Dennis Prager, followed by Sebastian Gorka. And at 5 Eastern Time, our newest star, Andrew Wilkow, with Dinesh D'Souza at 7 Eastern. Salem News Channel, the antidote to the mainstream media.
Fox News, I'm Laura Cantor. The average price for gas in the U.S. hitting a record high of $5 a gallon, with inflation also reaching an all-time high. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson has more from the White House.
Many economists think this crisis will only get worse. Compared to last year, groceries are up 12%, the highest spike since 1979. That restaurant bar tab is up 9%. Fuel oil, which we use to heat our homes and businesses, of course, that's doubled, the largest spike ever.
Democratic Congresswoman Elaine Luria of Virginia telling NBC's Meet the Press that she and her fellow January 6 committee members offer unique viewpoints.
People have different perspectives. You know, the fact that it's bipartisan, it kind of ping-pongs back and forth. Different members, will come in and say, well, what about this? And then other people say, well, I'm not sure that's the direction we should go.
Republicans say the January 6 hearings are meant as a distraction from the inflation crisis. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you like your gun range bag? There's a really cool local company here in Chicagoland that makes the finest range bags anywhere. And these quality range bags are so inexpensive that I bet you won't hesitate to buy one. The Hackett range bags from Hackett Equipment have it all. There are compartmentalized pouches that hold 2 or 4 pistols, ammo, mags, and even targets. Basically everything you need for a day at the range in a stealth design that doesn't resemble a range bag. Nobody will know you're carrying firearms. Additionally, they're super heavy duty and will last a lifetime because Hackett bags are 30% heavier than typical range bags. And the price is unreal. The large pack is under $100 and the small one under $80. But if you visit gunrangebags.com and use the promo code AM560, you'll save an additional 10%. Hackett equipment bags really are range bags that can hack it. That's gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com. Do it now.
Hey everybody, Mark Davis for Advantage Gold. Investing and protecting your retirement is a real challenge these days. Raging inflation, the hyper-volatile stock market. You don't have to sit and watch it all unfold. Thousands of retirees are safeguarding their retirements with physical precious metals like gold and silver inside their IRAs and 401ks. One company I trust for this, Advantage Gold, the #1 highest rated gold company on TrustLink 7 years in a row. For a free gold IRA investment kit, call Advantage Gold. 800-741-4653. Call 800-741-GOLD. Don't sit idly by while the stock market and inflation destroy your retirement savings. For a free gold IRA investment kit, call 800-741-4653. They'll answer all your questions, including if your current retirement account qualifies. Call 800-741-4653. Find out how easy it is to put precious metals in your IRA or 401k. Call 800-741-GOLD.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult your investment professional before investing.
If there's one thing we've realized over the last couple of years, it's how badly we need space. Space for a home office, space for family, and sometimes space for ourselves. But you may not have realized the space you already have. It's your basement. Maybe you've been dreaming of a family room, a home theater, or a new office. Your solution is Matrix Home Solutions. Just like their name, they have the solution to your space needs. Visit matrixhomesolutions.com to see their basement renovation projects. You'll be amazed at the transformation you could be enjoying. Right now, they're offering up to 50% off basement installations. Hop on your device and look them up at matrixhomesolutions.com and schedule a free quote. Plus, AM560 listeners can receive an extra 10% off with code AM560. There's no better time than right now. Free quote, up to 50% off your basement installation, and an additional 10% off with code AM560 at matrixhomesolutions.com. That's matrixhomesolutions.com.
Hi friends, this is Katie Pavlich from townhall.com. The liberal media and big tech are working overtime to promote the left's anti-American agenda and silence me and the reporters on our team at Town Hall. We have to bring the truth to the American people, free from the spin of big media and the censorship of those big tech companies. We're constantly covering the news that matters, exposing the COVID lies, the leftist rot and crime surge in our cities, the illegal alien crisis at our southern border, and all of Joe Biden's unconstitutional overreach, including the critical race theory attacks on our children and grandchildren by school boards and the Department of Justice. I hope you'll support our vital team of conservative journalists today. You can do so by going to townhallaction.com. While cancel culture and big tech comes for us, the direct support of our VIP members helps make us uncancelable. Please join our team by becoming a VIP member at townhallaction.com. That's townhallaction.com.
We now return to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer. If you have a question or an opinion, share it with us at 312-642-5600. And now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
And we're back from On Target Radio. Jim Lawson is our guest this evening, running in the 49th District of the State Senate. And before we go too far down the road, I just want to say, okay, Saul Alinsky.
Rules for Radicals was written by Saul.
Everybody in the studio, when we went to dead air, everybody looks at me like, you moron, as George comes in. And it is. I kept saying Bill Ayers, and I meant Saul Alinsky. They're very close. Same alphabet.
You're close.
We told him if he didn't call himself out on it, we were going to. So
yeah, I was going to get burned at the stake. Either that, or I was going to have to go before a school board. I don't know.
We were going to take your card away.
We're going to turn you into a furry.
Yeah, something or other. Anyway.
I'll walk you around the studio.
Just so you know, you owning that mistake and us burning you at the stake are not mutually exclusive.
I know where you live now, George. Just bear that in mind. It's a stationary target. We're going to talk a little bit about government overreach, and it's hard to say you're going to talk a little bit about government overreach these days. You remember how we joke, Gretchen, about when Trump first got into office? The running joke on our show was the biggest problem the White House has is getting trucks with loaded enough ink for him to sign executive orders and undo all the stuff.
Right.
What did it take Biden? A month?
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
if
my
that.
Lord.
If that. It was like 2 weeks.
And everything just destroyed. Shutting down the pipeline. I mean, everything that he did. I paid $88.80 to fill my car up today.
And that was for a half tank, right?
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, not quite, but yeah, almost.
Yeah, I hear
That's
you.
insane.
Yeah, hey, executive order after executive order. It's regulation, not legislation. And
I have a feeling that now when we switch presidents, we're going to be just executive ordering everything back and forth.
Yeah, that's
And that's what they're
disgusting.
doing.
It is
like
disgusting. and
it's like a
stop.
tennis game.
Yeah, and this is,
Right.
I mean, talk about a way to destroy a country. I mean, oh, yeah, hey, we're good now, and then now we're not so good, and then we're good now. It's a tennis match.
What
So-
irritates me is what happened of by and for the people.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
completely
Well,
lost
that's
that.
gone. That's a shot. What I find morbidly humorous, the price of gas is ridiculous. I mean, it's never been this high in history. It's absolutely outrageously ridiculous. It's almost like living in Great Britain.
And it was totally preventable.
100%. But what's interesting is now people are going, well, the price of food is so high. Excuse me. You don't see the relationship between the price of fuel and the price of food? Well, no. What's it got to do with it? How do you think it got to the store? People have not put together the reason why everything is going up really is based on the fuel issue.
We'll put this together. Now what they want to do is they want to take and focus more on ethanol, which is more corn.
Yep.
Yeah.
20 pounds of corn to make 1 gallon of ethanol, which is bad for your engine.
It's not good for your engine.
It's huge, and it's taken away from those fields. They're just taken away from growing crops, and primarily the corn that's grown and the soy that's grown is to feed the animals.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're taking those fields away from the farmers to feed their cows, and less. I mean, it's just a snowball
Because they
effect.
don't want us to eat meat anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're trying to push that meat substitute. That
Yeah.
no way.
Well, plus what
No
does other equipment run on?
Exactly.
So
Diesel.
it's a vicious cycle.
The whole thing is a giant matrix, and you do something to the price of fuel, it affects stuff that the average person doesn't even think about. Your clothes, the price of clothing goes up.
No
I mean,
doubt.
everything goes up because fuel is such a fundamental thing in society.
Yeah, and they don't have all electric trucks yet.
No.
My dad has a trucking company, been doing it since the 80s, even before that. And, only a handful of times, fuel surcharges had to be pushed down people's throats. Well, it's a pretty bad time right now, and you're going to really start seeing it tremendously because, they're holding them back right now. They're trying to make sure that the national average is held down. Well, now on top of fuel, these trucks have to run with a product called DEF as well.
Right.
It's an exhaust fuel, diesel exhaust fuel, and it's used for EPA standards. But that's an additional cost, along with extra filters and maintenance, and it just the regulations are out of control.
Well, now
and
they're
what
saying,
about Pritzker? What about Pritzker? He just makes stuff up. I mean, I'm amazed that he hasn't been impeached. He just makes stuff up. This whole thing about there was a time limit. There is some sort of safety thing where they say the governor has the ability to enact by executive order certain things in times of emergency or disaster. But all the law teams said that passed. I mean, that's long gone. And he just keeps doing stuff.
Yep. And that's half the problem right there, and like I said, it's all about regulation, and so we've got that nice checks and balances, which is non-existent in our state. We've been our executive branch, our legislative branch, our judicial branch, we've been a supermajority blue state for so long, but yet people don't realize that we've been just dealing with the exact same problems for about 30, 40 years.
Well, we're going to take a break as
was
soon as the
loud.
music is over. And we'll be back with more On Target Radio after these messages. And you're listening to AM560 The Answer.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I'm a long-time health person and PhD scientist by background. And as soon as I started taking the product, I noticed a difference right away. Even though I take a lot of different supplements, I noticed a change for the better with this product. And the idea, when I first heard about the product and what your company was doing, I thought, boy, this is the way you make a vitamin. So I'm very happy with it on several levels. Not only do I feel the difference from this product, but I'm happy that there's somebody out there making a product like this.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
She became overweight, stinky, several vertebrae fused together. Sophie was going to be euthanized.
DINOVITE.com.
I remember Sophie starting the Dinovite. She has loved it. She is no longer stinky. She is full of life.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Get them on Dinovite right away while they're healthy.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Spring means new beginnings and growth. So let's get your business's seeds planted with Salem Surround. Let us help your website bring you the leads your business needs to thrive. Let's make sure people find you faster and easier on the web. Our amazing team of media strategists are here to serve you with boots on the ground and real-world expertise. We live right here and know the communities you're trying to reach. We're media strategists, and we're very, very good at what we do. So let's grow together.
Visit surroundchicago.com today.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Our guest this evening is Jim Lawson, running for the 49th District for Illinois State Senate. And we're going to talk a little bit about mental health. Speaking of which, Steve from Huntley has a question about the Democrats. Steve, how are you doing?
Hey, great, guys. Good show. And just a shout out from a proud concealed carry graduate of Safer USA. So thank you for that.
We have a very intelligent person on the line. Excellent.
Yes. Well, Jim, a question for you. You sound like such a great, reasonable fellow, but my gosh, it seems to me that we are really losing the argument, even though we seem to be so fundamentally right and they seem to be so horribly wrong. What's your ideas on ways we might be able to win that argument in the social media?
Thanks for the question, Steve. Appreciate you calling in. Jim?
Yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle. You know, the media does control a lot of what's seen out there, but you know, there is hope. You know, I've done a lot of walking in this past 6 months. Started with getting petitions and worked my way through the campaigning, and you know, you get to talk to a lot of people, which is awesome. So about 90% of the people I talk to can see through a lot of the BS that's out there today. And it gives me a lot of hope. And that's kind of what gives me the drive and the energy to keep going.
Well, you know, the deck is really stacked. The media's in the bag. I mean, everybody's in the bag now for Democrats and liberalism. Although I think the tide is starting to turn, at least with some people. But it's been a problem. And we want to talk about mental health, which our rep here at AM560 always says liberalism is a mental disease. and I think he's absolutely right, because 10 years ago when we started this show, there were people, we called them liberals, but they were nothing like they are today.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
in your face, scream at you.
Oh, it's just totally out of control.
They want to kill you.
It is. It really is. It's totally out of control. And so, you know, there was one of the shooter's kids, and this is just a simple fact. Most of the mass shootings we've had, a couple of exceptions, most of the mass shootings we've had, the police knew who the shooter was long before they ever went and shot the place up.
Yeah, the FBI.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are we doing here that we're letting these kids do it? Parents of one, and I can't remember which one it was, parents of one of those kids was going to sue a newspaper because the newspaper said the police had been out to their farm and visited them about this kid for, I forget, 33 times or something. And they were going to sue because it was only 24.
Yeah. Right.
Seriously. I mean,
get me on the technicality.
At some point, you're as weird as your kid.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. I don't know if you're up on this, but I mean, I've seen quite a bit of research that suggests that the common thread between a lot of these people are either ADHD and being medicated for that from a young age.
No doubt.
And fathers not in the homes.
Yep.
They play violent video games.
Yeah.
From a young age, from a formative age. The problem, and I'm not saying any of one of those things independently is going to cause that. I'm saying when you are taking mind-altering drugs from a formative age and or playing violent video games from a formative age, that is going to have a profound effect on your brain.
Yep, it's a perfect storm. And then, you know,
really is.
Here you go.
Hey, now Duck Hunt came out when I was a kid, and I'm not messed up like that.
But your father was in the home, even though
that is
it
true.
was your father.
So it's essentially all tied back. And then, you know, you got the public schools now, just to digress a little bit, but you got the public schools letting these kids identify as furries. So, I mean, let's help the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's not constantly add to the problem. So that's, I mean, it's huge.
I remember saying when it was okay to be one of 50 sexes, I'm going, my God, can it get worse? Now they're dogs. I mean...
And I think 50, you need to kind of probably quadruple that,
or
more. Probably.
Those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
I was
at rookie numbers. Yes, exactly.
I've lost count.
We were at an event a couple of days ago, and I was talking to a Vietnam guy was there, and we were talking. And at 19, I was in a combat area doing what you do when you're in a combat area, and so was everybody else. Everybody was 19, 20, 21, 22. Can you imagine the average 19-year-old kid today doing that?
Absolutely not. There's no way.
Literally.
They've been handed everything.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's a little bit of fault to their parents, but, you know, I understand. I've got a 3 and a 7-year-old, and you kind of want to give them the world. But you also have to understand that no is a very powerful word, and it's just going to help them in the future just to kind of grasp that I can't have everything.
Well, I think, and the person that's about to say this is someone who was the biggest violator as a kid as you could get. But I think if you want to prepare your kids for the future, it's not to give them things today. It's to demand that they hold their feet to the fire.
Oh, sure.
Force them to actually live up to their word, and that years later will pay off. Had it not been for the Army, I might be broadcasting from Stateville.
You'd be even more of a reprobate than you
yeah.
were.
Yeah, really, and that's the truth.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a much better way to raise children is to say this is what the standard is, and you're going to have to do, you know, you're going to have to work or earn or whatever to come up to my standard.
Yeah, it's not letting them have the treat after dinner, you know, until they finish their food, right?
Oh, well, let's not get carried away.
Or you can't watch television until you finish your homework.
Yeah,
or...
pretty simple.
Oh, come on now.
There you go again.
Yeah, demanding. demanding
you
folks.
know, you try and make a point,
Crazy.
and you just go way off the end with it.
Yeah.
Way too far.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's true.
I'll reel it back a little bit.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break. Do we have some action items?
Same stuff as last week.
Okay, so when we come back, Gretchen will have some action items, and we'll give Jim the opportunity to tell you how you can send him a $100,000 donation. All that and more when we return with On Target Radio. And you are listening to AM 560, The Answer.
You can't live forever, but your legacy can. At Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, they've helped families set their legacies in stone for over 180 years. With interest-free financing and low monthly payments, now is the time to set your final wishes in place. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 today to schedule a free consultation.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Illinois Army National Guard. Aired by the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM 560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
Eric and I invite all candidates with contested primaries whose districts include any portion of Will County to attend the ISRA Will County Grassroots meeting on Wednesday, June 15th at 7 p.m. to get your 5 minutes in front of our pro-Second Amendment group. Just let us know you're coming. Safer USA is now offering classes in Geneva, Waterman, and Bonfield. Saturday, June 18th, long-range rifle, taught by Ed Janka. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
So, Jim Lawson, running in the 49th District for the Illinois State Senate, you probably have enough to fund it, don't you? You don't need money.
Oh, yeah, I'm a self-funded millionaire. So, being a union electrician really pays these days. So,
So how do people who want to help you get a hold of you? What do they have, a website?
Yeah, I do have a website. It's Lawson for FOR Illinois.com. You can go there. You can interact with me. I have my own phone number is posted on there. We're on a shoestring budget, so any help is greatly appreciated. You can email me at james@lawsonforillinois.com. You can go to my Facebook page at Lawson for Illinois. You could even kind of check me out as James Lawson in Plainfield. I do have a lot of friends out there that you'd like to interact with.
And you need soldiers, I take it. You probably don't have an unlimited number of bodies.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing to do. I really don't ask for money. I try to make it work as best as I can. But a person's time, as I've said, is the most valuable ticket that they can offer. And if I could get 100 people to just guarantee me maybe 5 minutes per week, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Sure.
Instead of, my wife, who is essentially super mom, taking care of the kids while I'm away at work, and she's setting up different events, and she's the one who kind of makes all the behind the scenes happen. I'm just the pretty face in front of her. So,
Yeah.
So FYI, the limits are $6,000 contribution from an individual, $12,000 from a corporation, $59,900 from a political committee. Or
She's
political
done this
action
before.
Darn it.
The most difficult thing I think of all is having hands and feet. And there's jobs that people could do at home. I mean, they could stuff bags for you. I mean, there's really an almost unlimited number of jobs that need to be done, some of whom you could do in your own home. If you like to go out and walk and talk to people, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff people can do for you.
Yeah, simple, just filling out a spreadsheet, from my petition signings, just 700, 800, 900 signatures, just put them in a spreadsheet for me. This way I can just give it to the printer. They can send out a thank you or whatever, and it saves a lot of time. It really does.
And I honestly don't think that most people truly realize how vulnerable the Democrats are in this election.
I think they are. Yeah, they very much
they're
are.
talking about a big sweep in the state, in the House. I
think that people, I don't want people to get the wrong impression when we talk about red wave, though. Red wave doesn't happen on its own. Red wave happens because of people like Jim, people like me,
Absolutely.
people like you, who are willing to put in the time and the shoe leather and usually personal finances to make make it happen.
But it's vulnerability.
It certainly
what we're
helps.
seeing.
Certainly helps a lot.
That's what we're really looking at, vulnerability.
We're related. We're all related by the pocketbook.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they're going to be voting.
And shooters will say to me, "What can I do to help?" And I say, "You can get the right guy." Like, well, no. But what can I do to help? That's what you can do to help.
We need you to vote.
Get a new person to fill that seat in the legislature.
That's all the time we have for On Target Radio. We'd like to thank our guest, Jim Lawson. Be sure to listen next week when we'll be covering more red meat issues that affect your life.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan.